Welcome to September, beautiful souls. It's Andrea with Enlightening Offerings. Can you feel that? Can you feel the difference between yesterday and leaving August and today entering September? I am still holding on to a bit of summer, as you can tell, but there is a transition in the air. There is a shifting. Can you feel that? Can you feel that? Not only weather-wise and back to school and all of that stuff. Many of you have never seen me in a bathing suit or anything, but I actually, about 20 years ago, got a tattoo on my thigh that says the universe is shifting. And it is an archer, and it says hold tight and aim true. Literally just to remind myself to really focus in on what exactly I want to shoot for in my life. Right now, more than any other time, I feel this energy. It feels really strong. This is not a doomsday video. This is more of an awareness and awakening. Wake up, pay attention, feel into things. How are you feeling? How are you honestly feeling right now? I'd love to see in the comments, because I personally am feeling daily quite a bit of anxiety. Right now feels like there's an overwhelming amount of things to do, and that it just kind of feels a bit heavy in the air. Do you feel that? So right now, September 1st, okay? So coming, we have September 17th is a full moon in Pisces, full blood harvest moon in Pisces with a partial lunar eclipse. So the harvest moon, we humans love to label things, right? So the harvest moon is that moon that's closest to the autumnal equinox. So this month, the autumnal equinox is on the 22nd. And so because we get that, then September gets the full harvest moon title. With the blood moon being because it will look a bit bloody with that partial lunar eclipse. Big things, big powerful energies coming down. And there's all kinds of stuff on the internet if you're interested in that. You know, you're going to touch in on the unconscious and death and rebirth and cycles ending and cycles beginning, right? And then we have the autumnal equinox, right, on September 22nd. And so just a few days later, 5 days after that, we have the autumnal equinox, where equal day, equal night, almost like this moment of the entire world just takes a moment in perfect balance. And then we in the northern hemisphere start entering the dark time of the year, the darker time of the year, right? Which we will continue getting darker and darker until we hit the winter solstice in December. So on top of that, I don't know if any of you follow astrology. I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you. And again, you can find more in-depth stuff on Google if this calls to you. But we have Pluto today just went back into Capricorn. So Pluto is the planet, and because Pluto is very far away, it takes a long time for him to transit during planets, or transit between signs. And so Pluto sits in a sign for about 20 years. Well, this year he went into Aquarius and sat there for about 6 months or so, and now he's back out for just a little bit until he goes back into Aquarius on November 19th. So September 1st. I told you, you're going to see my life. I have a bunch of teenagers here for a back to school thing. So September 1st, Pluto enters Capricorn again. So during the time, why I'm saying this is during the time that Pluto is back in Capricorn, we have the United States presidential election. So why is that important? Because Pluto is the god of death, the underworld. cycles ending and then beginning again. So I'm not going to get into my personal beliefs about politics and things like that, but it raises the question of what is going to die during the time that Pluto is back in Capricorn. Capricorn ruled by Saturn, who is the taskmaster, the very masculine energy, do this, do this, do this, do this, patriarchal, and go back into Aquarius on the 19th, 14 days, exactly 2 weeks after the presidential election. Aquarius, big, open, expansive thought, the water bearer, feminine energy. Aquarius, they say we've entered the age of Aquarius, so AI is a big hot topic when we talk about Aquarius energy. So anyway, so we're leaving this 20-year cycle of taskmaster masculine energy behind. It is in the cycle of death, and now we are entering the new cycle in Aquarius. So back and forth, but this is the last time. He will stay in Aquarius for 20 years. Fascinating, right? So what can you do? What can you do during this time if you are feeling that anxiety or that overwhelm or that need to really tie up loose ends? Like, that's how I'm feeling. I have spent the last about month and a half, tying up loose ends. And I didn't really notice the pattern until relatively recently, where I tied up a huge project that I started in January. Oh, interesting. When Pluto came out of Capricorn the first time. Okay. Anyway, little nuggets, right? I tied up that project. I need to write and finish my autumn guided journal. Batten down the hatches, right? What can you do? Plan for the future. I'm not talking prepper style. I'm talking like take care of your needs so that when and if things really do transition and shift into a different resonance, a different frequency within the universe, that you're prepared for it, right? And also, like, we're entering fall, so it's a good idea to really close up those summertime projects anyway. We are leaving summer, which is the fire season, the doing season, the masculine season, and we're entering into fall, which is the water season, the being season, right? The feminine water, the emotions, your spiritual self, your intuition, right? You're feeling more rather than doing. Okay? So what else can you do? Breathe. This has been a reoccurring theme, and I was going to do a whole video just on this, but I don't think I need it. Like, I think we can handle this. Something has come up in my practice where I've realized that people don't know how to breathe, which I've known, right? We don't get taught how to properly bring in life-sustaining energy into our body. We come out of the womb, sometimes we got swatted on the ass, and then we're expected to just know how to properly breathe. So when I work with clients, especially in energy healing, which can be a bit big to feel anyway, they breathe up here. There's a lot of and they don't fully bring in air, okay? So I'm not telling you to do this if you're driving, but let's play with some breathing techniques. The best thing that I have found is to breathe down into your belly. Okay, your lungs stop about here. I know that, but our intestines are really malleable. And so the idea is to pull oxygen into all, I think there's 4 sections of our lungs, and really bring that into our body, right? So with me, you don't want to move here, you're not moving here, you're not moving here, you're only moving down here. And it helps to put your hands on your tummy, right? And we as women, typically are taught in society to suck it in, to hold it in. And so when I first started working with breath work, this was a huge mind fuck. I had to untrain myself from decades of programming to suck it in and hold it up. In fact, ironically, I'm wearing a bra today, which hasn't happened a whole lot since COVID when I threw that out the door and I was wearing Duluth Trading no yank tanks with the shelf bras. Let me tell you, life changer. Because we're not allowed to go braless in society because society tells us that women aren't allowed to have nipples. So a little bit of padding hides that, but it doesn't constrict. A big part of my personal journey was recognizing that my solar plexus felt really constricted and I wasn't able to breathe. So during this time when we're transitioning from one to the other, we're entering that perfect moment of balance and we're moving from the doing to the feeling. Breathe, breathe, right? Don't even think about the holidays yet. Don't go there. Don't even think about that yet. It's not time for that. Okay, so feel your tummy. Push against your hand. Nothing else should really move. I mean, my boobs moved a little bit, but I mean, that's intestines as well, right? You can also do, I love the full rib expansion breath. That's really kind of, it's very mental. You have to really focus on it. So rather than moving here or here, we're only moving here. Okay, you never want these to move. These don't move. Mm-mm. This can move sometimes. Like heaving bosom style, right? No, that's not what I'm talking about. Okay. One of my favorite breathing practices I learned at a workshop right before or during COVID when we were all, messed up about breathing and lungs and stuff. And she taught us to start down here and then go out, top down. As to really fully expand our lungs all the way up. Whew, I'm getting a little lightheaded. But really, the whole point is that we tighten and we constrict. And how are we supposed to function and move through this interesting time of transition if we don't have our mental capacity, our physical capacity at its fullest? And breath work is the most basic thing that we can offer ourselves. The last thing you can do during this time, as you're tying up your loose ends, as you're closing out summer, think about what you want, right? Hold tight, aim true. Where do you want to go? Finish up the things that you've been working on, the things that have been hanging over your head like this gloomy cloud of self-recrimination because I'm just not getting enough done. And then figure out where you want this time to go. Where do you want your future to end up? During this time of working with Pluto, what do you want to let die? What patterns, what patriarchal shoulds that you've put all over yourself do you want to let go of? Because we're entering into a time of expansive thought. Let's work with that. Work with it consciously rather than against it. So, lots of stuff going on. If you're interested in learning about astrology and natal charts and the planets and how they all work together, I do have classes coming up this fall in October and November on astrology and natal chart reading. And so we can look at your chart and where things are and what's influencing you specifically. So let me know if that sounds intriguing. Until then, though, blessings to you all.